So today, we're going to tackle something that I think drives everyone crazy. It's this consistency paradox.
Right.
We all know what to do, right? We have the knowledge, make the calls, go to the gym, get the budget in order.
All the right things.
But day after day, we just don't do it. We fail to be consistent. And it's not because we don't know enough. It's a failure to execute.
And,
Yeah.
if you're looking for the ultimate proof of how powerful consistency is, you have to look at our source for this deep dive. Weldon Long's The Power of Consistency.
Right.
When he started putting this framework together, he wasn't just, in a slump. He was at rock bottom. I mean, a 3-time convicted felon, high school dropout.
13 years in prison.
13 years. Incredible backstory.
It is, and it's easy to just gloss over that transformation, but you really can't. To go from zero, I mean, you could argue less than zero,
Yeah, absolutely.
to building a company up to $20 million in just 60 months, 5 years, and getting on Inc. magazine's list of fastest growing companies. That's a seismic shift.
It is. And it proves the framework works, no matter where you're starting from.
Exactly.
So our mission today for you is to really unpack the engine that drove that success. He calls it fear.
Fear, which stands for focus, emotional commitment.
Action and responsibility.
Hmm.
And we're going to show you how these 4 steps take success from being, just a wish to being almost a certainty. And it does that by using some really fundamental human psychology.
Okay, let's jump in. Step 1, focus. Long kicks this off with a metaphor he calls the box.
The box. Yeah.
And it really captures that famous Emerson quote he kept coming back to in prison. We become what we think about all day long.
And it's such a simple idea. Think of your mind as this literal box. Whatever you put inside it, your thoughts, your beliefs about yourself, your expectations,
Yes.
it's going to come out.
He uses that motorcycle analogy, which I thought was great.
It makes it so tangible. You put motorcycle parts and a blueprint into the box. You follow the plan. What do you get?
You get a motorcycle.
You get a motorcycle. You cannot possibly focus on building a motorcycle and then accidentally bake a cake.
Right.
The result has to match the inputs. So if your internal thoughts, your box, is filled with lack and failure and difficulty,
Yeah.
then the results you see in your life will just be a mirror of that.
Okay, let's break that down because it can sound a bit abstract. But the sources show it as a really clear, linear process. It's thoughts create emotions, emotions drive actions.
And actions determine your results. And the really critical part is that the first 2 steps, thoughts and emotions, are totally invisible. No one can see them.
But they determine everything that is visible.
They predetermine your reality. He tells us this powerful kind of tragic story about 2 families whose daughters were in a really bad car crash.
Oh, yeah, the misidentification.
Exactly. So one family is told their daughter is dead, and they go to the morgue. The other is told their daughter survived, and they go to a hospital.
So their thoughts, what they believe to be true, completely dictated their emotional state.
100%. One family is feeling unimaginable grief. The other, this immense gratitude and worry. Their emotions are totally real, but they were driven by a thought, not a fact.
So bringing that back to business.
If you spend all day thinking the economy is awful, nobody's buying, that thought creates a real feeling. Hopelessness, maybe.
And that feeling leads to, what, half-hearted actions?
Exactly. Which guarantees the very result you were afraid of. Your sales numbers become a perfect reflection of what was in your box to begin with.
And the part of our brain that really locks this whole mechanism in place, this is where it gets into biology, is the reticular activating system.
The RAS.
Yeah.
This is fascinating stuff. It's like the bouncer for your brain. It filters out all the billions of bits of data flying at you.
And it only lets in what's relevant.
What's relevant to your current focus,
Right.
your belief,
Yeah.
your expectation. And here's the kicker from the source material. The RAS proves you right, even when you're wrong.
Okay, so give me a practical example of that. If I've programmed my RAS, my box, to believe I'm a $50,000 a year person, how does it actually screen out, say, $1 million opportunity?
It's subtle, but it happens all the time. If you truly, deep down, believe that 50,000 is your ceiling, your RAS sees things like a major investment pitch or a high-risk sales territory with huge upside as just noise.
It doesn't even register.
You literally might not recognize the potential. Or worse, you'll find reasons to dismiss it. If you believe customers only buy on price, what does your RAS do? It zooms in on every single price objection you hear.
And it ignores all the people who bought based on value.
It confirms your belief. It filters them out because your filter says they don't really exist.
So it's not that the opportunities aren't there.
It's that your brain is making them invisible to you. which leads to this unavoidable conclusion Long came to.
Yeah.
Your results will never ever exceed your expectations.
That's a powerful and frankly kind of a scary thought.
It is, but it also gives you the key to changing it.
Which brings us to step 2. So if step 1, focus, is about deciding what to put in the box dreaming big, like Long had to do from a prison cell, step 2 is emotional commitment.
Exactly. This is where you lock in those new expectations so the RAS has something new to filter for.
Yeah.
You have to consciously change the expectation to change the result.
And his list was, it was unreasonable, as he put it.
Totally. Owning property, getting an MBA, writing a book on a beach in Maui, but most of all, becoming an awesome father. These things forced him to become a new person.
So how do you formalize that? The tool he created is the prosperity plan.
Right, and this is not just some, vision board with pictures on it. It's a very specific, actionable document.
A blueprint.
A blueprint for a new identity. It has 2 parts. First, your consistency outcomes.
Right.
And they have to be written in the present tense like they've already happened.
For example, I earn $200,000 annually.
Or, I'm a man of honor, character, and integrity.
Hmm.
Then second, you have your consistency actions, the simple, daily things you need to do.
I make 6 new cold calls per day.
I send personalized hunter letters every week, things like that.
Okay, let's clarify hunter letters because that's a key part of this kind of sales strategy. What are those?
Good point. So in this system, hunter letters are not just random emails. They're very targeted, strategic outreach efforts. Think personalized notes or emails to high-value prospects, key decision makers.
So it's proactive. You're hunting for big opportunities, not just waiting for them.
Exactly. It's consistent, high-leverage outreach. And the bridge between this plan and your subconscious is what he calls the quiet time ritual, 15 minutes a day.
This is the part that I think some people might find a little out there.
Well, this is where it moves beyond just, positive thinking and into actual neurological programming.
So the ritual is, you review the plan, you visualize the outcomes.
And this is the most important part. You have to experience the emotion as if it's already real, as if the goal is already achieved.
Okay, but how is that manufactured emotion powerful enough to change your behavior years down the line? That's a big claim.
It is. But Long talks about this. He says that the feeling he had decades later, actually taking his son to college, that awesome father moment,
Yeah.
was the exact same feeling, the same emotion he had fabricated 15 years earlier in that cold cell. By creating that intense emotional experience, you create an unforgettable permanent memory in the subconscious.
It's like an anchor.
It's an anchor,
Yeah.
and it forces your brain to start building new neural pathways to make it a reality. This lines up perfectly with what we know from neuroscience, like those NASA studies.
Right, about adaptation.
Yeah, they found that consistent repetition for, say, 25 to 30 days literally rewires the brain. The new actions become second nature.
So you're not relying on willpower anymore.
Which is huge because willpower is finite. It gets weaker under stress.
Yeah.
This is about automating the behavior. You're programming the habit.
Shifting from conscious effort to subconscious automation. Okay. So that automated belief has to show up in the real world. Let's get to step 3. Action.
And Long's definition of consistent action is really simple. It's just doing lots of little helpful things regularly.
The letters he wrote from prison.
Hundreds of them. Each one seemed insignificant, but the power was in the consistency, not the size of the task.
And the psychological mechanism that forces you to take that action, that stops you from slipping, is cognitive dissonance.
Yes. This is where the system defends itself. Cognitive dissonance is that powerful, uncomfortable feeling, that anxiety you get when your actions don't line up with your internal programming.
So if my plan says I make 6 cold calls a day, and I've spent 15 minutes feeling the success of that, but then I only make 4 calls.
That internal conflict kicks in. It's mentally painful.
And human nature just hates that feeling. So you're forced into a choice.
You have to get rid of the dissonance. You either make the other 2 calls to align your action with your belief, or you stop doing the ritual. You change the belief, but your brain will demand they match.
And his own story has that incredible example of this with the prison guard.
In 2002, yeah, he had been programming himself for years with, I am a man of character, honor, and integrity. Then suddenly, a guard collapses. It's a life-or-death moment.
A moment of truth.
The cognitive dissonance would have been immense if he'd done nothing. His programmed identity had to match his action. So he acted, he saved the guard's life. And the best part,
The letter.
the letter he got from the warden later, thanking him for showing good character. The exact word from his plan. The action was inevitable.
The identity dictated the response,
Mm.
which is the perfect lead-in to the final step, step 4, responsibility.
Or, as he calls it, responsibility. The ability to choose your response.
Right.
Life is hard. It's going to throw problems at you, a bad economy, a competitor. But your outcome isn't about the problem. It's about your decision about the problem.
This is the whole winner versus whiner mindset. It's about what you choose to focus on.
Precisely. Winners focus on the process, their circle of influence, the things they have 100% control over.
My skills, my preparation, my attitude.
Exactly. Whiners obsess over the result, their circle of concern, the things they have zero control over, the national economy, the competition.
The prospect's bad credit.
Right, and that idea flows right into a sales strategy, the 8 to be great concept.
So the idea is that any great salesperson has some combination of 8 key traits.
Yeah, they're persistent, they're well-trained, confident, knowledgeable, great at follow-up, whatever it is. Your job is to focus on making yourself an 8. You control that completely.
But wait a minute. What if I'm a perfect 8, but my prospect is a 2? You know, low need, bad credit, just not a good fit. Can my internal state really fix that?
Well, no, but here's why it works. The 8 salesperson, because of their skills and preparation, their process, knows how to qualify that prospect out quickly.
And when to walk away.
And when to walk away and move on to a better prospect. They don't waste emotional energy on an unsolvable problem, which is the result. They maximize their probability of success by focusing on their own contribution, their responsibility.
Okay, before we wrap, there's one last piece of responsibility we have to cover, and it's kind of counterintuitive. Preparing for success.
Yeah, it's about homeostasis, or psychological comfort zone.
Right.
It's strange, but when people who have always struggled suddenly achieve massive success or wealth, even though it's good, it can feel uncomfortable. It challenges their identity.
The imposter syndrome kicks in.
Exactly. And they can unconsciously self-sabotage to get back to the familiar feeling of struggle.
So they push the success away.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
So the solution is to take responsibility for it ahead of time. You add a consistency outcome to your plan, like, I am comfortable with wealth and success. You program your mind to accept the new reality.
Wow. This has been a really, really practical deep dive into that fear framework. It makes it so clear that his journey from a prison cell to being a CEO wasn't luck.
Not at all.
It was a predictable, repeatable process. You focus on your box, you lock in the emotion, you let dissonance force the action, and you take full responsibility. You shift the odds in your favor.
You shift the probability. That's the whole game. If you are consistently thinking the right things and doing the right things, success becomes, well, highly likely. You just can't get it wrong by accident.
The universe doesn't really work that way.
The universe and your own brain, through things like the RAS and cognitive dissonance, just don't allow for that kind of outcome.
Weldon Long used to ask himself every day, how badly do I want it? So as you think about what's in your box right now, here's the question we'll leave you with. What limiting belief are you currently letting your brain prove right? And how quickly can you replace it with a thought so powerful it triggers a completely different result?